Akalon wastes.
And here we go. Quick shout out to the Blizzard production team for the map intros. They've done a great job on those. We've been plugging them all season long, but I can't help but notice just how nicely done they are.
I could not agree more, Ben.
Uh,
In my defense of my eyeball control, it was really dark and the lights were very bright, so it was kind of just like, I'm just doing a little dance with my eyebrows.
It's not eyebrow control, it's actually you just squinting because you
can't see the camera. We all know my vision isn't the best anyway.
Top left-hand corner of Akalon Waste. The Red Zerg player one map away from the round of 8. E.G. Jaedong.
With a very quick scout this time from the man who's spawning in the right bottom side of this map, Ben.
Yep.
Of course, this lovely, handsome blue Protoss. EG's Oz.
Whoosh.
The Wizard of.
Wizard of the Adabisi Zoom. No proxy 2-gate here, not this time.
Yep, that's what he did last time on Akalon Waste when he played against Scarlet in the round of 32. But Oz this time playing a little more standard, dropping the pylon on the low ground. It's going to go for the Forge fast expand, not a super early Forge though, so I don't think we have to worry about any cannon shenanigans.
Now, one thing that I want to mention that I haven't mentioned yet is certainly for all the folks that are hanging out in the Southern California area around LA, Santa Monica, we're going to be taking all the players out to the Santa Monica Pier on Friday. So this is an open invite to anybody in the community that wants to have a chance to meet these guys that hasn't been able to make it out to any of the offline events. If you live in the area, we'll be at the Santa Monica Pier on Friday from noon to 3, roughly. Just kind of hanging out, having a good time. We're going to have a big lunch with the players, and it should be a real blast. So please come out, meet your favorite players, get some autographs, and if you're lucky, you can walk away with a wristband, which will get you into the grand final at Red Bull, August 10th and 11th. So
should be a really fun day, man.
Open invitation to the community. We want you all to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oz dropped a couple of pylons trying to deny these hatcheries for as long as possible, and he did a pretty damn good job at it. His next is already 40 seconds in, while the hatchery is just now going down. Of course, when you delay it like this, often the hatcheries go down at the same time, so the 4-minute mark. Still 2 hatcheries are in production, but at least 1 larva cycle is a little bit delayed.
Yep. And frantically, this probe is trying to retreat back across the map, and I think he's going to make it. Link's not able to catch up.
He's definitely going to make it. As Oz played it very safe. He also got the cannon before the gateway. So he didn't do this very greedy. It would have been a little bit more greedy if he got the gate before the cannon, which of course opens up his tag route a little bit quicker. The gate. Never mind. Go in.
Jaedong's Ling's gonna peck away at those rocks down there outside the third base of Oz. I don't think he's ever gonna get through there.
I think Oz won't mind that too much, because what Protoss players like to do sometimes is get this as a full wall off or just leave one spot, but then go through these rocks and knock down these rocks. So it's a little bit easier to defend 3 bases for a little while. And I'm very curious to see how Oz is gonna play this out. When he opens up with a Forge fast expand, there are so many different routes to go. We know that he likes to bust out some Stargate builds every now and then, just like get a Void Ray out, then a couple of Phoenixes, try to go up to 3 bases behind this. Might be a reasonable strat for that, or map for this.
Now, if Oz loses here, he will go on to play against Ryung. He said in the interview that he can't lose PVT, so if that is the series we get, it should promise to be exciting.
Or he just said he can't lose against Jaedong. We never know.
Oh.
He might have meant that, man.
Could be. Could be. Happy Ling going to chase this probe back home. So important that Zerg players don't allow hidden pylons to go up.
A lot of drones in production now for Jaedong already. Of course, those injects are kind of similar in his second and third base, so every time they pop, it's going to be a lot of additional drones. Even though Jaedong did just decide one.
He's dropped 2 creep tumors, man.
Yeah, that makes sense because he cannot actually spend all the larvae in certain phases of the game. So. And getting a little bit of creep threat going against someone who likes to put on gateway aggression as much as Oz is obviously not a bad idea.
Stalker's going to go chase after Jaedong's Overlord, and I think he's probably going to get it, Kev. This Overlord doesn't really have anywhere to hide. Or maybe he's just going to be super polite. All right, Jaedong, you're my teammate.
To worry about those links as well. Wow, that's a super quick turn. That's 6 minutes and 50 seconds.
This is the Greetor build. I played a game against Greetor earlier in the week. He's like, hey, let's play some ZVP. I'm like, okay. So I play against him, and he just like, we play up to like 18 minutes, and he just crushes me with this huge army, and I'm so salty and sad. I'm like, I don't get it. And then I watch the replay. It takes his third at 6 minutes, and I was like, what the hell, man? This is just cheese. He's like, how is it cheese? You took your third base in 3 minutes, or 6 minutes. You can never hold that.
I love how, despite going up to 3 bases this quick, also still putting on a little bit of gateway aggression, even though, of course, he's not thinking that he's going to be able to do a whole lot with this, but he's keeping units to the side of the map of Jaedong rather than seeing them knock on his front door and being worried about what else is there. These two Stalkers and this Zealot is giving him a ton of information about what is actually going on.
He did?
Yes.
Okay. So I wonder what he's going to do about it. Looks like he's just going to try to macro up these Lings chasing these Stalkers. Zealot's trying to catch up with the Zerglings. It's a sort of a hilarious chase. Both players microing pretty well, but the Zealot will get trapped and the Stalkers are going to have to run home.
Yeah, losing the Zealot's not a big deal. Losing 2 Stalkers is a little more
Watch out for
expensive.
that corner.
Wouldn't be the end of the world, but still, you don't really want to lose Stalkers in this phase of the game. They're too expensive for that. I really like what Jaedong has been doing though, because he's just been droning like a madman behind this. Oh, a couple of additional Stargates going down right now. 2 even.
2 Stargates. So,
a little bit of Myungsik and Tassadar,
yeah,
even though it's different.
A little bit of Alicia even. Although, Alicia...
A little bit of every Protoss that ever lived out there.
Yeah. Let's make some Void Rays.
With the 3 bases, it's actually very cool. Curious to see if he's ever going to go up to 3 Stargates or not. I think it's just going to be these 2 Stargates for now. Can be very good opening up with 6 or 8 Phoenixes when your opponent doesn't expect it. And then perhaps 1 or 2 Void Rays for safety and eventually go into a different type of armor.
It's a great scouting overlord at a great time, but unfortunately doesn't see anything. So Jaedong will continue to play in the dark. We see him morphing an Overseer. That is going to eventually reveal the plans.
It's a 3rd Stargate as well, man. So
wow.
it is going to be a little bit of Myungsik.
Alright, he's actually going to start with Phoenixes.
Yeah.
So I guess wanting to take control of the skies before he commits to any other Void Ray kind of play.
It's going to be a massive scout over here for Jaedong though with his Overseer. He scouts the 2 Stargates, and if he clicked on this building as well, he knows that it's the 3rd Stargate. And now I'm very curious to see how Jaedong is going to play against this. Immediately we see 10 more drones in production, so he wants to make sure he has that sick economy. He is going to go up to 4 bases, of course. That's something that you can do very safely when you see a Protoss player going up to 3 bases that quickly.
I gotta say, I think the best way for a Zerg player to play against this kind of a style is kind of a passive one with lots of creep spread, Hydras, Vipers, and even Spore Crawlers. We've seen a couple of guys utilize that sort of play recently. For some reason, the game that's coming to mind is Ghost User versus Lucifron, but that's not a ZVP.
Well done, Ben. Great analysis of this PvZ matchup.
That's what I'm here for, Kev.
A couple of roaches in production now as well. I find that a little bit questionable, unless he's worried about Stargate and Gateway aggression, but he doesn't have to worry about it at all. Of course, it's easier for us to identify that than it is for Jaedong. We're going to see lots of Hydras. He has to make sure that he keeps those Hydras together, because 7 Phoenixes are actually able to do very, very well against Hydras if they are just able to like sort of get a rolling fight, pick off 1, 2, 3 Hydras before the fight starts.
Now double Robo goes down.
So that's okay. I guess he's just going to play very traditional, lots of Colossus, lots of Void.
I'm going to make 3 fake Stargates.
This is so many Phoenixes already.
Phoenixes. Holy cow, it's 10 Phoenixes, man.
Yeah.
And
wow, and he's actually moving out with Gateway units as well, so these roads were perhaps not a bad
decision. This is actually
decision.
a scary push, man.
I think it's going to be very scary.
Spore Crawlers are going to be very critical, as will the Queens.
Yeah, Spore is super important. There are Infestors on the way, man. They will have Fungal Growth, and 1 or 2 Fungals. Like, Fungals is absolutely amazing against every single unit in this army. But of course, Oz is not going to just clump everything up. He's going to try to split up everything as well as possible. Oz is not even very committed to this when he has a double Robo going up in the main base and 3 Void Rays in production. How's this going to play out?
This is a bizarre build here out of Oz. I think it's so interesting and so smart that Jaedong went for Infestors. It is a little bit harder to land those Fungals these days, but if anybody can do it, we know Jaedong can. As we see him repositioning this big Zerg army, hoping to catch Oz out of position, but it's not going to happen. As Oz is backing off, at least a little.
Layer attack going down right now, or hive tech, of course, for Jaedong now as well, while he's still making Hydras and adding a few more Infestors.
I'm a little worried for Oz. Look at the supplies, 170 to 136. There are no Colossi out. Robotics phase just starting.
26 Hydras actually. Wow, he was able to squeeze out so many additional Hydras in a very short time. But he can just sit on these 3 bases for a little. Don't lose your mothership core.
Oh, that's huge. Now Oz could find himself in an indefensible position. He's going to sit behind that ramp. Zealots aren't going to help him from behind that ramp. The Void Rays might.
Making 2 Immortals in this phase of the game might not be the best choice either. Of course, they're fantastic against roaches, but there are barely any roaches in this composition. There are 8 of them. The bigger threat is the 26 Hydras.
I don't think Jaedong should be taking his time, though. I think he needs to trade, make something happen. He's got all this money.
I guess he's worried about Force Fields and maybe even a couple of Colossus already being out. Did he scout the Robo Bay ever? No, he did not see that one yet.
But it might be safe to assume it, given how many Hydras he's shown. Oz right now throwing down extra gateways. Jaedong doing a great job of falling back in time to deal with his Zealot harass. Unfortunately, though, I just can't get over this feeling that he missed an opportunity to attack and do some damage.
Jaedong has so much money as well. Well, he doesn't have a lot of gas band, so I guess he was just really afraid of if this would go wrong, how is he going to defend a counter push when all he has is minerals and he just doesn't really have a lot of gas. I guess he wants to play it safe and he doesn't want to attack before he has some Vipers as well.
What is he going to do when the Colossi are out? He has no Vipers.
He's going to get
Vipers. Make a
Vipers.
few.
He's definitely going to make Vipers.
But, I mean, Hydras die so fast to Colossi. It's just...
Yeah, but that's where you get the Vipers for, man.
We'll see.
Colossus are really hard to actually play effective these days against Zerg. Like, Vipers are just so extremely good. I am very curious how Jaedong is going to control Vipers and Infestors, though, because that's actually an army composition that's pretty damn hard to control.
That's kind of what I was thinking, too, man. He's chosen, like, the most micro-intensive army composition that Zerg could ever go for. Infestors, Vipers, and Hydras as well. You know, Hydras are a unit that you can't really... If you just allow them to clump up in a choke, they're going to get wasted. You've got to be so careful about your positioning.
Getting some extra energy from the hatchery. Got to be careful.
I swear I think Vipers are the best unit in Heart of the Swarm. They're so incredibly versatile. They bring such a great dynamic to the Zerg matchups. The anti-siege unit.
10 Infestors against the Protoss. That's not something you see every day these days.
The thing is, I just don't know how he's going to be cost-effective with them. Like,
if he controls it well, he's going to crush the army.
If he controls it well, it's going to be amazing, but it is so difficult. I would really love to look at his hotkey groupings.
It is Jaedong, man.
He's probably got each Infestor on its own hotkey.
1, 2, 3, 4, just a bunch of Infestors, and then the rest of the army. Look at the bank from Jaedong as well. He's so rich.
I don't think there's a Spire down there, which makes his ability to tech switch a little bit tricky.
Phoenixes have to be really careful.
Oh, double Spire going down right as we say it.
Lennox style. Makes me think of Lennox against Naniwa.
Yeah, me too. I love that game, and I think that's a great way to play. Scary moment right now. There's the huge fungals, and they were great fungals. Need to get a couple pulls on the Colossi. It's exactly what Jaedong does. Colossi going to take damage, and they're going to die. But
landing as well.
Look at how fast the Hydras die, Kev. The Hydras going down so quickly. Infestors actually only lost a single Infestor there, which blows my mind. So great control out of Jaedong. That was a pretty good trade. He's wow, look at Oz. He's remaxed already? Oz is up at 194 supply, and Jaedong's at just 140. Jaedong needs to build something. What's it going to be?
Wow.
Dude, how is Oz remaxed so fast?
I have no idea how that's actually
How many
happening.
gateways does he have? And what is he remaxing on? I guess it's just the actual supply cost of the Void Rays and the Colossi is so high.
That is so weird.
Like, that looks like such a good trade, and then Oz is max, and Jaedong's at 140.
That really didn't feel like a maxed out Protoss to me at all. I'm actually just like stunned. Like, I trying to figure out what's going on. He did have a Colossus and 3 Void Rays in production.
I think Jaedong might be waiting to make 20 mutas because he's not building anything. And I was going to go Greater Spire. So
well, Oz is familiar with tech switches like that because he had this crazy game against Revival in Red City. I was really blown away when he told me that Oz is maxed out. I just couldn't believe it. Now, the more I see it, the more it makes sense a little bit. He has 5 Colossus, 14 Zealots, and also 9 Void Rays. And now everything is together. Now this army suddenly looks really scary.
Yeah, this is a ridiculous Protoss army. Jaedong does remax, and it's going to be on Hydras. 22 more Hydras. Everything in Oz's army is pretty good against that, Kevin. I mean, the Void Rays aren't phenomenal, but he's got Storm, he's got Charge Lots, he's got Colossi. This is going to be so hard for Jaedong to fight.
A lot of Zealots engaging this base right now on the left side of the map. A couple of fungals will land on top of them, and Hydra should be able to clean it up. But most of these spines will go down, though, so he's setting himself up to perhaps in a later phase of the game.
Very intelligently, Jaedong replaces them immediately. It's exactly what he needs to be doing.
Look at this queen, man.
She is so brave, and now, as a result, so dead.
There are lots of Storms this time as well, so while Storm is not ready yet, it will be ready real soon. He has to be careful.
That was good pulls. Kills 2 Void Rays for free, and might even get a Zealot or 2.
Oops.
But still, man, this is just the most difficult Protoss army to engage, and there's a great Storm on the Hydras, and look at how quickly Storm roasts those Hydras. Oh, great Fungal going down. Feedback's being cast as well. The Infestors, though.
Those Fungals, actually, all those High Templars
he
will
wants
die.
to keep casting Fungal, but great job taking out the High Templar.
Can you believe that he was able to land those Fungals like 3 or 4 times against Colossus and Void Rays and some other units?
I can't believe that he made 10 Infestors and has now fought twice and still has 6 of them. That's pretty awesome to me.
He still has so many minerals, but he's just making so many gas-intensive units, making Vipers, making Infestors. Once more, we see Oz spamming a couple of Zealots in the left bottom side of the map, doing that really well.
Once again, it's not going to work out as Jaedong does answer the call. Again, they'll want to rebuild those Spine Crawlers and replace a few drones.
7 Broodlords now suddenly, man, against so many Void Rays. kind of a bizarre decision.
He's relying on Fungal and Hydras to deal with the Void Rays.
It's such a weird PVZ. I haven't casted many of these. Or
pretty awesome unit compositions out of both sides, I gotta say. 8 Corruptors on the way. Oz is gonna attack into this, I guess, 5th expansion of Jaedong. And where's the Zerg army? It's really tough to engage from this angle.
Storm's probably going to try to land. He could land 1 or 2 feedback.
Does land a Fungal on the High Templar, and
I don't really like this fight for us though. All his units are way too spread out. It's losing a couple of Void Rays absolutely for free.
Oh, and a good Fungal goes down as well. And are the Vipers gone? I guess the Vipers died. Hydra's being microed very well. The Brood Lords are in the back, starting to peck away at this Protoss army, and Oz has to retreat. It's 170 Protoss supply to 170 Zerg supply. Jaedong walks into some big storms, and Oz is going to deal a little bit of counter damage. The Void Rays, the only answer to the Brood Lords, though, and Oz could be in some real trouble if those Void Rays go down.
I actually kind of like Oz's position right now, Ben. Sure, there are still a lot of Brood Lords. If he gets a big warp in, though, with Stalkers, he doesn't really, there's no anti-air in this Zerg army anymore, so the Void Rays should not focus these Broodlings, but they should have been right-clicked on these Brood Lords, and then actually think the Void would be able to do a lot of damage.
Oz in a bit of a bind here, Kev. He's very low on money right now. He's got 200 minerals, 400 gas, and he's down to 140 supply. Jaedong, on the other hand, does have a big bank and will be able to remax. An absolutely bizarre game and an awesome game, and that's why we love casting WCS America, because you get to see this caliber of players bringing this caliber of game. Jaedong just shutting down a couple of expansion attempts on the bottom half of the map, while Oz moves around the top half of the map.
Tempest in production now as well. Of course, Tempest are absolutely fantastic against Broodlords. I do feel that if Jaedong wants to make those Broodlords work, he should probably try to be a little bit aggressive.
With something. I don't really know what he's going to do here, because you know, the feeling I'm getting is that
it's a lot of OCS.
is that the Protoss army is still so hard to engage. Jaedong has to do it so perfectly. He no longer has the Vipers. It's just it's this Broodlord Infester. This is a bit of a throwback.
As well, I'm not sure where it is. A couple of Links did snipe. Okay, Warp is on the north side of the map. Links did snipe this pylon on the left bottom side of the map. Seems like Jaedong wants to put on some pressure on perhaps his 5th base.
Is going to be so scary against this super immobile Zerg army. I think he might kill both the Spires if he goes that far.
I couldn't agree more.
And it looks like he's heading in that direction, and he's got plenty of supply room. He'll be able to warp in 6 Zealots, maybe 7 Zealots. Oh, Jaedong spotted it somehow. And wow, how did he see that? And just immediately responding to it, will chase the Warp Prism away. And down it goes.
I love the amount of Corruptors now as well. He has like 18 Corruptors. It's so sick. I think a couple of Archons would actually be really good for us to make sure that those Corruptors cannot just right-click on the Tempest and idle above the Protoss army, because even when you have a bunch of Stalkers, well, this is a funny little Stalker hit squad.
That hurts. Fungal on the Stalkers. The Stalkers are eventually... Good
sick
blink.
Dodge.
Good
he's
blink.
actually going to be able to get it.
Yeah, he's going to kill the hatch.
No, a lot of transfusions over here. He's not going to be able to get it. Good save by Jaedong. Cute move though by Oz, but that's an expensive little hit squad to send out.
Yes, it is. That said, the Stalker's probably not what he wants in the army right now. That's my best guess why he's willing to throw him away. He wants to replace him with Void Rays and more Colossi, maybe some more High Templar.
He's far from maxed out though, and he isn't that rich. So what he did do is pull the army to the left bottom side of the map, so his 5th base is still alive. Oz really needs to take those Vespian geysers at his 5th base, because he needs that gas income. Okay, we're getting a couple of Archons right now, which I think is really, really smart, because how often haven't we seen just a big group of Corruptors idling above a Protoss army? And Storm is very, very good, but you need some additional DPS as well to really kill those Corruptors.
A new Warp Prism making its way around to the main base of Jaedong, and this time it has not been spotted, so Jaedong's tech
very exposed.
Yeah, very exposed and at great risk, and that's a huge warp in. 9 Zealots going to walk over and take out the Hive. And they'll probably get both those Spires too, Kev, although Jaedong now realizes that he is coming back with everything he has.
At the same time, Oz is moving forward with his army as well, Ben, in the middle of the map. He might actually be able to intercept a couple of these
Brood Lords are caught out of position. One of them does die immediately. Jaedong forced to split up his units a bit. Fighting Zealots with Zerglings is not the best way to do it. But maybe he has enough. It looks like he does, in fact, have enough. He loses one of the Spires. The Greater Spire still alive.
And what I love here as well, on the left bottom side of the map, we have a little bit of 2 Broodlord harassment. Earlier today in WCS Europe, we saw 2 lost carriers, like sort of harassing a base in a crazy PvP between Hazops and Grubby, and now we're seeing just 2 Broodlords somewhere idling on the map. At the same time, once more we have a lot of Zealous. Oh, Jaedong!
Trying to save it with the drones, and that is such great play from Jaedong. Hatchery down to 15 hit points. We'll stay alive for a little while longer, but
does he have queens?
Stalker's gonna blink. 1 shot. 2 shots, and the hatch does go down. Well played there. There's a storm going down on the Corruptors and the Infestors, so Jaedong got to be so careful with his army. What a great game.
Great
oh,
fungal.
wow, that fungal. And a whiffed storm, those High Templar might get away.
That's very smart, because that one High Templar ushered those Infestors away, otherwise the fungal would have been landed or placed once more. So well done there by Oz. And these Tempests, man, these Tempests are so good right now.
Picking off a couple of Infestors, doing some good damage to the Broodlords. Jaedong doesn't have a good answer to the Tempest right now. His Corruptor count is at 18. Well, that's a pretty good answer to the Tempest, I guess. The Void Rays.
But it's going to be so hard for Jaedong to really get in a position where he can fight. Like, he cannot just walk in with Corruptors against 5, 6, 7 High Templars. There's going to be so many storms. And then, of course, the Tempests are going to come a couple of free shots.
Now we see the Vipers coming out for Jaedong. That is the real key to engaging this late-game Protoss army. Another Warp Prism moving on the bottom half of the map. Does Jaedong know it's there?
I would really love to see one Oracle in the army from us as well, because that's the way, if you want to do everything perfect, you get one Oracle, you cast Revelation, and then it's just so hard to deal with this army.
Downtown all day, every day. Zergling's going to try to shut down this expansion attempt out of Oz. Man, look how close these Expos have now gotten to the opposing players. Jaedong's 6th base going down within a stone's throw of Oz's 4th. Is that a Nidus going down in the main base of Oz? Jaedong just bringing it all on. There's a single Zealot being warped in to defend it, but there's no supply left. And can a Zealot kill the Nidus in time? I don't think he can, Kev. So we're going to have something running loose in the main base. Two Zerglings. There's a Zergling in my base. He's moonwalking.
Well.
Two moonwalking Zerglings. Not going to get it done. Big fight here in the middle of the map. Vipers not contributing a whole lot. A couple fungals did land. And the Broodlord's doing a great job of dealing big damage. Great pull there on that Archon. He's going to go right down.
Poor Archon. A couple of High Templars left behind a little bit, but they will join the army again.
Pretty superb army control from both these players.
I really think Oz needs an Oracle, man. An Oracle is so important. Getting observers to try to get some, kind of like, how would you describe it? Information that you shouldn't get, or vision on the army that you shouldn't get is a cute idea, but there are so many Overseers, there's Spore Crawlers, there are Corruptors. There's no way Jaedong is just going to let an observer sit on top of his army while these Tempests are shooting away at it. He really needs an Oracle.
Another Nidus going down, this time in the back of the 3rd/4th expansion.
Which is empty.
Of Oz. Jaedong has 5k, 4k. If he made 40 mutas right now, like just threw away his army and made 40 mutas, do you think that would work?
Well, there are still Archons and High Templars. That would be good in some way, but he's going to have to trade at least very... in a way that is going to be scary for us. If he just does it straight up while throwing away his army, then it's not a good idea.
Nidus allowing Jaedong to get in and on the infrastructure of Oz. There's a single cannon trying to be a hero. Oh no, the Void Rays! They're right-clicked on the hatchery, and that's going to allow the Corruptors to get a great position. A lot of storms are going down. But Jaedong is going to kill every Void Ray. Holy cow, man. The storms are just huge. Last Void Ray does go down. Where are the Broodlords? Are they all dead? No, there's 6 Broodlords somewhere. Here they come. From the other side, Tempest should be able to deal some counter damage, but there's too many Corruptors still alive.
What is Jaedong going to remax on? He's going to have to make up his mind real soon, man.
He needs to make something. Stalker's blinking under the Broodlords. What's it going to be, Jaedong? You got to make a choice. There we go!
Oh my
46 mutas on the way, and will it work? I think it might. There's a single Archon and a few Stalkers, and Jaedong... The one thing he has to do is reveal them at once. He can't reveal them 1 or 2 at a time. Oz right now warping in at his main base, losing his Stargates. He's not going to be able to build any Phoenixes. 50 mutas at once.
Genius. Those Lynx took out those Stargates as well with the Nidus. We're going to have a ridiculous amount of mutalisks soon.
And here we go. Look at the mini-map. It's red closing in from, well, mostly one side.
Sweet mother of Muta.
As 50 mutas close on the army of Oz, and what are you going to do about it as Colossi go down in 2 shots?
Falls as well.
Archon's going to go down instantly, and this is not something that Oz can engage. He's in huge trouble. Jaedong with a great tech switch. He's going to be sitting at 50 mutas here in just a couple of seconds. And mutas are great at killing Zealots. This expansion will be saved. And I don't think Oz can do anything about this,
There are 3 Archons in his army, but Jaedong is just going to go for it.
He doesn't care. He's going to magic box everything, and these mutas are so well upgraded. 3 attack, 2 armor. A lot of them are going to die, but with Zerglings streaming in to supplement the damage, the entire army of Oz will get cleaned up. He did a lot of damage, though. He killed half the mutas, Kev. Every Colossus is going to die.
All these Stalkers, a nice blink macro now as well. Oz still has a little bit of money, but he just doesn't have that much gas. He's going to lose these Stalkers now as well.
That's it. Good.